Yo, what is up everybody? Emo here, back with another video, and this one is going to be huge. We're talking about India. This place is at the top of so many people's bucket lists, and for good reason. The colors, the culture, the food. India is like nowhere else on earth, but before you book that ticket, there are a few things you need to know to make your trip as epic as it can be. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a seasoned traveler, these tips will help you make the most of your journey. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into essential tips for traveling in India in 2025. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a seasoned traveler, these tips will help you make the most of your journey. Alright, so first things first, research. India is a huge country with a ton of different regions, each with its own unique vibe. Do you want bustling city life, peaceful beaches, maybe something more spiritual? Figure out what kind of experience you're after and narrow down your destinations. Once you know where you're going, it's time to dive into the nitty-gritty. Look into local customs, what to wear, how to greet people. Trust me, a little effort goes a long way in showing respect and avoiding awkward situations. And then there's the itinerary. Now, I'm all for spontaneity, but in India, a little planning goes a long way. Transportation can be tricky, and you don't want to waste precious travel time figuring out logistics on the fly. Book your flights, trains, or buses in advance, especially if you're traveling during peak season. I know, planning isn't the most glamorous part of travel, but it's the foundation for an epic adventure. Think of it this way. The more prepared you are, the more you can relax and soak it all in once you're there. Okay, let's talk about health and safety, because nobody wants to spend their dream trip feeling sick. First up, vaccinations. Check with your doctor about what you need, but some common ones include hepatitis A and B, typhoid, and maybe even rabies, just in case you get friendly with a monkey or something. Next, water. Stick to bottled water and avoid anything from the tap, even when brushing your teeth. And speaking of things to avoid, let's talk about street food. Now, I know the smells are intoxicating and the food is usually incredible, but it can also be a recipe for disaster if your stomach isn't used to it. Start slow, be cautious, and maybe pack some antacids just in case. When it comes to safety, India is generally safe for travelers, but it's always better to be prepared. Keep your valuables close, avoid flashing large amounts of cash, and trust your gut. If a situation feels sketchy, it probably is. And ladies, I'd recommend dressing modestly, especially in more conservative areas. It's not about restricting yourself, it's about respecting local customs and staying safe. Chapter 3. Navigating India's transportation system can be an adventure in itself, but don't worry, I've got you covered. Trains are a classic way to travel India, and for good reason. They're relatively affordable, generally reliable, and offer a chance to see the country unfold before your eyes. Just be sure to book tickets in advance, especially for sleeper classes. If trains aren't your thing, buses are another solid option. They're everywhere, they're cheap, and they'll get you pretty much anywhere you need to go. Just be prepared for a bit of a bumpy ride. Now, if you're looking for convenience and comfort, ride-sharing apps like Uber and Ola are widely available in cities. They're a lifesaver for getting around quickly and avoiding the hassle of haggling with local taxis. And here's a pro tip: traffic in India can be insane, especially in big cities. Factor in extra time for travel, or better yet, try to avoid traveling during peak hours if you can. Chapter 4. One of the most amazing things about India is its incredible diversity. But with that diversity comes a responsibility to be culturally sensitive. India is a land of traditions, and what might seem like no big deal back home could be a major faux pas here. First up, clothing. As a general rule, it's best to dress modestly, especially when visiting religious sites. Cover your shoulders and knees, and consider carrying a scarf with you to drape over yourself if needed. When greeting people, a simple namaste with your hands in prayer position is a respectful gesture. Avoid pointing your feet at people or sacred objects, and don't be surprised if PDA is met with disapproval. And remember, bargaining is part of the culture, especially at markets. Don't be afraid to haggle, but do it respectfully and with a smile. It's all part of the fun. Chapter 5. All right, let's talk money. The good news is India is super affordable, especially if you're coming from a country with a strong currency. But that doesn't mean you should be throwing rupees around like confetti. Set a budget and stick to it. There are plenty of ways to save money. like eating at local restaurants, using public transportation, and staying in budget-friendly accommodations. ATMs are widely available, but it's always a good idea to carry some cash, especially in smaller towns. And speaking of cash, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Divide your money between different bags and pockets, just in case. And here's a little tip that'll make you feel like a local learn to haggle. Whether you're buying souvenirs at a market or negotiating a taxi fare, don't be afraid to barter a bit. It's expected, and you might be surprised at how much you can save. So there you have it. A few tips to get you started on your Indian adventure. India is a country that will stay with you long after you've left. Embrace the chaos, immerse yourself in the culture, and get ready for an experience like no other. Thanks for watching. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more travel advice and adventures. Safe travels.